Hello, everyone. Uh, Very warm welcome to all of you for joining this webinar on heart-centered spiritual living. And as we are waiting for a few more folks to join in, I'm going to just say a few words so that you guys can settle down and just feel more comfortable here. I hope all of you can hear me and see me properly. And this is just like my first experience with the webinar, so I hope all the things works out the way we have planned and we can all enjoy this session. So as we are starting this session, what I'm going to do is, wherever you are, you just feel comfortable. If you can sit, you can just sit down. If you are driving, just feel relaxed. You don't have to close your eyes. I just want to get a little centered so that everybody could be more here. So we'll just take a couple of minutes and just get centered. So wherever you are, just feel relaxed and take a deep breath in and let it out. And just allow yourself to come into a place of relaxation as if you are giving yourself permission to be relaxed. And some of you who can actually close your eyes, just feel free to close your eyes and just feel yourself centered, like find that place inside where you could get relaxed and centered. One of the places which are very easy, which allows you to easily get centered, is the place inside where your breath lands. So just follow the trail of your breath, and wherever it lands, just allow yourself to just relax, as if you're giving yourself permission to be here, to be relaxed. And at the same time, you are allowing yourself to come into this present moment. And just be here for yourself in this moment. And just follow the breath as it comes in inside the system. Hold for a couple of seconds and gently let it out. So you can relax your body, like step by step, relax your feet, your ankles, your shin, your knees, your thighs, your lower abdomen, as if everything you're giving permission to just relax and dissolve. Relax your belly, your chest, as if there is a sense that I don't have any agenda for my body right now, I just allow it to just settle down. So relax your shoulders, your throat, your chin, your jaw, your lips, your eyes, your nose, your forehead, the top of your head. Like everything is just settling down, just getting easy. Relax the back of your head. Relax the neck. Relax your upper back. Relax your spine all the way to the base of your spine. And relax your legs all the way back. And also relax your arms all the way to your fingertips, as if you're giving yourself permission to be here and to be relaxed. And follow your own inner sense to come into this place of settling down inside and just being here for your own self. And just enjoy this next couple of moments. Like just become an observer, what's going on. If you are hearing any sounds, just hear them with the curiosity. Oh, I can hear these sounds. Or if there is something moving inside, just being aware of what's moving inside, just watching, and not questioning, oh, why it is there. Just, oh, wow, I can feel this. I can experience my own breath. I can feel this sensation in my chest or my belly. I can feel it in my back. And just as you observe, knowing that everything is okay in this moment, just relax. So take a deep breath in and let it out. If there is a sound which comes out with it, just feel free to let that sound come out. And with that breath, just let go of everything which you're holding, if at all. Whatever happened earlier in the day, yesterday, day before. And just become free for the next few moments. Great. So if you have closed your eyes, just open your eyes, and very warm welcome to all of you. Some of you will join in late also. Feel free uh, to be here. And I'm going to start the session now. And I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and you might see the screen and my video would disappear. So I hope you can see my screen. And today's topic is heart-centered spiritual living. And this has been a topic of my interest for quite a while. And and I wanted to share my learnings over a period of time with all of you. And I know some of you are already on this journey to be more heart-centered, to have a better spiritual life, to feel more connected. So before I start, I just want to quickly let you guys know, because I'm the only one who is actually speaking here. It's a one-way communication at this moment. We would have a demo later on, so somebody would join us for the demo. But if you have any questions, you can post it here on the side. But the goal of this presentation is to share this information with you. And I'm sure some of you might have some questions. So post it there. I would try to take it at the end of the session. And for whatever reason, if we don't have enough time, I would try to take it in the next session. And all of these sharings which I'm sharing with you is based on my learning. And I have included work of some other people who have inspired me, some guides, some gurus, and just people in general who inspired me with their examples. So I will mention their names wherever I have used their content to explain few things better. So here is the agenda. This is a 2-week webinar, and the first week I would actually cover what is heart-centered spiritual living, and also I would cover different awarenesses and their importance. What are emotions? What are energy centers? What are unintegrated and unprocessed emotions? How do you integrate them? Also today I'm going to share with you a demo of a tracking tool which would allow you to become more aware. And the goal of sharing this tracking tool is so that you can go back and practice, and by the time next week we meet, you would have a little more awareness and we can dive deeper into the heart center and the importance of heart center, what it takes to open the heart center, what blocks our heart center, and finally, how you continue your journey from that space to have more heart-centered spiritual life. So, so what is the first question is, what is a heart-centered spiritual living? And the answer, which I have experienced after discussing it with several people, experiencing it myself, is actually a balance. It's a balanced living where all the key energies of our life, which is mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, are working to the optimum capacity. And because they are working into the optimum capacity, it's happening in a harmonized manner. And due to this, there is an openness and flow between all parts of me. And when I say all parts of me, it's emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and all of them, if you really see, they're all playing their part in your life. And as that's happening, all of these are actually trying to create a kind of a balance. and each one of them have very specific function. And as we go more into detail, we would get into the specifics of what's the job of each of these energies and how it's working. I'm feeling a little weird today because I'm not sitting in front of the audience and I'm not able to see them. Most of the time I have a whole bunch of audience, so it's very easy to connect. So I'm assuming that all of you are there, and I feel more heart connected with you even though I don't see you. So feel the same connection with me. So why I'm doing this, this heart-centered spiritual living webinar? Because I believe that we all have the ability and capacity to live a very authentic, powerful, and harmonious life, which means we can really be authentic. Being authentic means being who we are really, truly in our original nature, and at the same time coming from a place of having that power where I'm independent, I'm free, and I'm able to live a harmonious life. Also, people who are heart-centered, they actually create heart-centered relationship with the self, with others, and nature, and which automatically leads to natural peace and harmony. And when we really understand heart-centered individuals, or what heart-centered relationships are, you would understand these are the same relationship which we all have been trying to create in our lives. Like we want that fulfillment, we want that connection, we want that intimacy, and not just with ourselves, but everybody we get in touch with. Heart-centered relationships, they basically work on flow and inspiration. And what I mean by flow and inspiration is there is a natural flow, how things are moving in your life. Like I feel really connected to somebody, I feel inspired to go and talk to somebody, and it doesn't need to have a very specific mental agenda. Oh, I need to go and talk to this person, I have to talk this, and all that. You follow that inspiration, that flow which is coming from your heart, and you are guided by that intuition and love. Which doesn't mean that you don't think about it whom you are going to go and talk, and you don't plan your communication with them. But ultimately, more than mental, it's a heart-centered communication which is happening, and which is purely based on your intuition and love. And when that's happening, you actually don't need a whole set of rules and discipline. So heart-centered individuals are guided by their own intuition and love. And that intuition and love which is guiding them is already in alignment with all the laws which govern the nature, all of us, and which create more harmonious relationship. I also believe that if we have access to the powerful tools and guidance, everybody can enjoy a life which is beauty, truth, and joy, which in essence is a heart-centered life. So one of the motivation of being here on this call is actually discussing what it takes to be in that space, which we all so very well want to be. And whether we are living it or not, we exactly know deep down in our heart what it is to live in beauty, truth, and joy. And when we have glimpses of this, we actually know this is what it is, this is what I want. But the question is to sustain those experiences so that we can stay there. And some of the tools and other techniques which we would share today, which we would discuss today, would allow us to be more into that space. Also, some of the things which I'm going to share with you guys is going to be a little deep. So I have to go into detail to explain you so that you guys understand it. I do have an agenda to cover some of these slides today, but at the same time, I would try to see that I am following my intuition and flow to share with you whatever is coming along so that you get the value out of this time rather than going with the agenda that I have to cover these many slides. So heart-centered spiritual living. So if you are living a heart-centered spiritual life, there's a natural balance, flow, and ease in your life. And what I mean by that is that you would actually feel that everything in life is moving with an ease. There's a flow to it. And when I say flow and ease, it doesn't mean that you don't have any challenges, you don't have any problems which you're facing. They're all there, but ultimately you're still finding your way through it. And you find that, hey, no matter what's happening, you can still maintain that balance inside. And because you can manage that balance, there's a flow and ease, you would naturally feel an openness. There would be a zeal and enthusiasm. And one of the very easy way to know is whether you're living in your zeal and enthusiasm is, what is the first thought which comes to your mind when you get up in the morning? Like, do you really feel that hey, another beautiful day, I'm going to go and learn something, I'm going to go create something, or another day, I'm going to go to work, the same grill, the same stuff. So if you're living in zeal and enthusiasm, your first sign in the morning is you look towards your life, you look towards the day. Also, somebody who's heart centered, they actually are very much connected to their deepest heart longings. And what I mean by deepest heart longings is they are very much in touch with what exactly is their motivation, what exactly is inspiring them to move in their life. It is simply put that they are very much knowing that what's going on inside them and what they need to do to follow that longing. In another way, they are not confused that mind is saying something, heart is saying something, and what should I follow? But they are truly tuned into their heart's longing, and they know this is the way to follow. They are in charge of their life and feel mastery no matter what's happening around. And even if they have tough situation, there are challenges, they would still feel that I have the control. I am in charge of making the choices which I need to make, irrespective of whatever is happening. A lot of times you would find some of the people who are on the spiritual path or who are religious, whatever it is, they have all the information, they have all the knowledge. But when the situations come, they are actually, when rubber meets the road, they actually feel difficult in in applying that knowledge. They feel like even though they have all this knowledge, but they are not in charge of their life. That something else is driving, the problems are driving their life. They also feel a lot of intimacy and deep connection with everything. And what that means is like they feel connection with other human beings. They also feel connection with the nature. They are they already have this natural compassion for everyone they come in touch with. And all of this is happening because they are already experiencing this first themselves inside. So whether they are in touch with somebody else or not, they are absolutely in touch with their own self. And also, this intimacy and deep connection is there, irrespective of it's being reflected by somebody else. Means like you are in a relationship, but you could still feel the deep connection with other people, even if they are not able to reflect exactly the same way you are sending that uh, love and trust to them. They would be very clear, and they would sense that there is a guidance, that their life is being run by a pure guidance, and they would be present, and they would realize that there is a sense of wholesomeness across all the different energies which we discussed previously: mental, spiritual, emotional, physical. So these were the signs that how heart-centered spiritual living works for an individual. But also when you are not heart-centered, what really happens? So, and the reason for me to share this is to really give a good contrast that what it means to be a heart-centered spiritual individual versus the one who is not, or who is not experiencing that heart-centered spiritual life. So those who are not in that space, they experience lack of unfulfillment as at one level or the other, which means they would have one of the pieces missing. Like they would feel very fulfilled spiritually, they are very fulfilled mentally, but emotionally they might feel some lack. They are not in control of their emotions, or they are having fulfillment at other level, but not physically. They have some issues or concerns there. And when this is happening, because one part of their life is unfulfilled, what happens is the other part tries to come and compensate for it. So, for example, if you are if you are emotionally unfulfilled, what's going to happen is your mental part is going to come and overcompensate for that. And what happens is you, like for example, you want to, instead of being present with your emotions and being master of your emotions, you might try to read a lot of books to get a lot of external knowledge to understand that, and which is, there is nothing wrong with it. But then what happens is, instead of being present with your emotions, because that part is not fulfilled, you're going to actually jump into more of your mental sphere, and you would run your life through trying to rationalize everything rather than to experience everything. And depending on which part is actually compensating you, there is a sense of, then what you happen is you would become attached to that particular part. So if you're not feeling fulfilled spiritually, emotionally, you might just get into things at a physical level. Like you might like company of somebody and you want to spend a whole lot of time with them, And now you develop attachment because now that person gives a sense of fulfillment from that space. And at the same time, when that person is there or that thing is there, whichever you're attached to, losing the thought of losing them would create fear, and you would be at disease with that whole connection. Also, when you are not heart centered, you are going to live from a place of conditioning and limitation. And what I mean by that is, conditioning is like all the conditioning which you have picked up from the childhood, like what your parents said, what your teacher said, what your uh, co-workers said, all that understanding which you have picked up, like, oh, this should be like this is the definition of a successful life, I should have a job, I should have a car, I should have all of those 10,000 things. So you're living out of conditioning rather than listening to your own heart's longing. And you would also experience that you're pushing through the life. So when that's happening, you would feel that, hey, you're putting so much of effort, you're trying to give your best, but still it feels like there is a push which is going on, like, oh, I have all the spiritual knowledge, I follow this group, I have the techniques, but I still feel I'm pushing through life. It's not like at ease, so there is no flow. And also, just like I explained in the previous slide, that people who are masters and who are living heart-centered, they are in charge of their life. But people who are not living in that space and who lack that heart-centeredness, they actually carry emotional charge from the old relationships, old circumstances, old trauma. So instead of being in charge of their own life, they carry emotional charge. And also, because all of this is happening, they would feel that they are judgmental. Sometimes they won't even realize it, they won't be aware. And because they are judgmental, they are not. They are also closed to different opinions, different thought processes, different school of thinking. And it's a journey. Like, maybe you might see this list and get a little overwhelmed. Oh, these are so many different things, and I could relate to this, I could relate to that. That means I'm not really heart-centered, or I don't have any control of my life. We are all at different levels in our life in this journey. Even though I'm doing this session with you guys, but I have some of these symptoms with me itself. Sometimes I'm judgmental, sometimes I'm close. I'm also carrying parts of my old emotional chart. So we all are in the same journey, moving at our own pace. Yeah. So today I'm sharing with you, based on my experience, how to get out of this space and to be more heart-centered. So we talked about balance at all the different levels, which is physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. Uh, but what does balance really looks like? And a couple of things I shared in the previous slide. Uh, what it really looks like is actually there's a constant flow and ease in life. Means you don't have to put extra effort to really find a balance. Should I put more energy here? Should I put more energy there? Or should I do this and that? Yeah, there is a sense of awareness that, hey, I need to probably spend a little more time with me, or I have to spend a little more time in this relationship, or I need to focus more here. But it's not coming from a place of force, that I have to force myself to do this. But you naturally feel there is a constant flow and ease in life. There's a feeling of happiness and fulfillment. And one thing I want to clarify here is happiness and fulfillment is not dependent on how a particular result comes out. Like, you have put your effort into something and it has to come out in a certain way. If you try to push your way to get a particular kind of result, like, we all put efforts to be successful and all that, but it is dependent on the effort which you are putting and the happiness you're getting out of that effort. Because you're putting that effort coming from a place of flow and ease, happiness and fulfillment is a natural byproduct of that space. And you would actually not naturally feel, irrespective of whatever the result, you would be content with it. Like, oh, I'm okay, this is what it is, and I'm okay, and I need to basically make some changes. Life is giving me some feedback, and I would go ahead and do it at the next level. And finally, you would have experience of authentic power. And authentic power is the power which all of us possess inside. We're going to discuss a little bit more on this. So I hope we are all doing good till now. So what does authentic power really means? And authentic power is the alignment of all of your life energies with your soul. And when I say alignment of all your life energy, means the energies which are at physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional levels with your soul. And soul is, in a way, is your own being, your own pure consciousness, or some people can say higher self. So when all of these different energies of your life are in alignment, which in other ways there is a balance there, it means you are in alignment with your soul. And this leads to experience of authentic power. And one way to understand it is like, if you don't have a balance across all of these four energies, what's going to happen is that there would be a lack at one level or another. So there is this you, which is your higher self or the soul, and then you have all of these different energies of different parts of you, which is physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. They're all there. So if and each one of them have their own agenda. So if the agenda of all of these energies are not in line or not in alignment with your soul's agenda or your higher self agenda, then you would find there are two people living inside. One is the real you, which is the real consciousness, which really wants to live its life fully, wants to live in fulfillment, wants to live in freedom. And then there is a mental part of you, which is actually trying to live its own agenda, which is based out of conditioning. So when those two parts live inside, then they struggle to fulfill their own agendas. And if you're not aware of your own true inner longing, which I mentioned previously, your heart's longing, what's going to happen is that you would be in conflict inside. And when there is a conflict inside, you are not going to experience authentic power, which is your own power. And because you are not going to experience your authentic power, you would want to experience power, but now that power is going to come from outside. And it could be anything. Your job might give you that sense of that power. A particular relationship might give you a sense of power, or whatever is your chosen source of power from outside, because you're not experiencing it inside. And the very basic need of you is to feel powerful, because when you feel powerless, you feel very sad, hopeless, and whole bunch of other things which are there. So once you are in that alignment, you would feel that authentic power. And one of the biggest things which I want to cover is what is authentic power. So if you really see, we are moving step by step. What is heart-centered spiritual living? What are the symptoms when somebody is living there? What is the symptoms when somebody is missing being living in the heart-centered place? And how does all of this leads to a authentic power? Because there's a balance there, and balance is also a byproduct of authentic power. So I want to share with you a few signs about what does it really means to be in authentic power. So authentic power is being fully engaged in the present moment. Means like you're absolutely present, and because you're present, you can feel that authenticity inside. Authentic power is also a human experience in which you're free from all the fear, self-doubt, and hatred. Means there is no judgment which you carry with yourself. And even if you have it, you are aware of it. Hey, I have some judgment. A part of me is judgmental. But there is no doubt which is coming. You don't know what to do, what not to do. And there is no self-hatred. You are not going to feel guilty or beat yourself down. It's also a space where you come from that authentic power, that you are who you are. Like, this is who I am, and this is the space I'm coming from, which is authentically true and powerful, that you don't have to prove that. And when you don't have to prove it, the last thing which should be on your mind is that you have to show your power as part of force. And that would be the last thing in your consciousness. So another way to understand it is you are coming from the power, and love would be easily flowing. So the amount of force you use in your life is inversely proportional to the love which is absent there. So the more the love, the less is force which is required. So if you are coming from a place of love, you don't have to actually show any kind of power there. And you would be aware that what is happening authentically at each level. And when I talk about each level, is all the four levels which I talked previously: emotional, mental, uh, emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical. And it's also being aware of everything that you're feeling all of the time. So I hope it makes sense what exactly authentic power is and how it really influences our life. Because this is one thing, and you can call authentic power through several different names, being heart centered, being present, being in the flow, but it's actually your own self, your own authentic power, which is being reflected in that moment. So let's continue with our journey to the next step. And I was just checking how many people are there. There are a bunch of people who are already there. So let me share my screen again. So how do you create that authentic power? So one of the ways to create your authentic power is to be aware of everything that you're feeling at every single moment. You have to be aware what's going on at all of these different levels. Because a lot of times, each one of them, if they have their own agenda, and if I haven't done enough homework to bring down the agendas of all of these different parts of me and say like, hey, this is what I need to follow, then each one of them would be running its own show. And then that's why you would realize sometimes you are okay, sometimes you're not okay. Even when the things are going absolutely fine, there's not a sense of fulfillment. It's because there is a part of you which is running its own agenda and you're not aware of it. So if you want to be in authentic power, the first sign is to to be aware of what you're feeling. And you cannot align your life's energy with your higher self without being conscious of what's going on. So when you're feeling what emotions which are present. And you could have a lot of emotions going on at the same time. You could be happy, you could be sad, you could be excited, you could be scared. All of them could be running at the same time. And as you are aware and you're feeling everything, you realize that there is a learning in every experience. Every emotion which is present there is actually teaching you something. And as we go into the next slide, we would actually see what it really means, that to really see that every emotion has its own message. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little exercise, and I would request all of you to just sit wherever you are, or find a place where you could be relaxed. If you're driving, then you don't really need to close your eyes, but just be aware. Or if you're using some machine or something, just be aware of yourself and find yourself a place where you can follow with me. So, so what I want you to do is just take a deep breath in and let it out. And as you breathe in, just follow the journey of that breath all the way inside, and just relax. Like giving yourself permission to be relaxed in this moment. And all you need to do is, I'm going to speak few words. All you need to do is just follow those words step by step. And even if your mind goes somewhere else, just bring it back. You don't have to fight why it's going there, here, and there. But just gently find a way to bring yourself back in this moment. So just be present, and if you're closing your eyes, just take a moment and remember that time in your life when you had experience of authentic power. And what does it really mean is that that time in your life is, it could be a time when you may have felt that authentic power while you were cooking a meal for a friend, or you were caring for someone who was sick, who needs your help. It might be a time when you felt it while you were getting on a bus to go somewhere and you knew exactly where you need to go. You were very clear that what choices you have to make. And you might have even experienced it when you were with your friends, people who really love you, people who appreciate you, who actually like you for who you are. Maybe your kids, your siblings, your friends, your parents also. And it may be at a time when you were by yourself in nature. You're just walking or you were enjoying the nature, and you just felt that sense of connection, that flow, that ease, and you sense that, oh, that everything seems right, everything seems okay. There is nothing more need to happen in this moment other than me being here just now. So just remember how you felt and what you were thinking at that moment. What were the thoughts there in that moment? You can even experience those feelings in this moment in your body. You might become more aware of, I'm feeling it more here. And even some of you who are not feeling it, just feel relaxed. Just it's not exercise to prove something is right or wrong. And as you bring these experiences back into your memory, just see how these experiences has impacted your life. Did something shifted? Did you have a different perspective? Or maybe you connected to your own heart's longing. And just knowing that, yeah, those experiences were there and I could feel my authentic power, just allow yourself to just relax, that it's available there for me. So take a deep breath in, let it out, and just gently become present here again. So knowing that I have access to that part of me where I can feel my authentic power. So welcome back. So let's continue with the next set of ideas here. And as you can see this word remembering, so remember really means that, oh, I go back and remember something, but remembering really means is you're remembering the parts of your memory which are beautiful. You're remembering with your own authentic power. So as you went back into that memory and you learned yourself what was going on, you actually become more aware. And why I brought you to that awareness is to allow you to understand that there are two kinds of awarenesses which are there. One is personal awareness, which is also called vertical awareness, like your own understanding of your own self. And then there is relational awareness, which is a horizontal awareness. And we are going to go and discuss a little bit more about both of them, but vertical awareness or personal awareness is actually the awareness of knowing everything what's going on with you at all of these different levels. And relational awareness is actually the awareness of what's going on at all of these levels when you are in connection with others. So when you're in relationship with others, how are these energies working? How are they working out? So let's explore them a little bit more. So personal awareness. So personal awareness technically means it's the conscious connection to our own inner reality, which means you have the understanding of what kind of thoughts you are having, what kind of emotions, feelings, and having, and what's going on at your spiritual level, which is your spiritual self. Also, because of personal awareness, you have the guidance, access to the guidance which is there, which is coming from all of these parts. If you know your thoughts are like this, then you realize, oh, my thoughts are positive. So what created this positivity? Oh, I'm feeling good, like my emotions, my feelings are really positive. And then also at a spiritual level, what's going on with you? So you have this guidance available, and then as you have access to this guidance, you can always change it. Hey, this is what's happening. I need to make a shift here. I need to focus here. So you can track And as you are connected to this personal awareness, you have this personal awareness, what's going to happen is when you make some choices, all of these different parts, your thoughts, emotions, feelings, your spiritual self, they're going to give you a feedback. And based on that feedback, you can exactly know the choices which I'm going to make right now in this moment, how it's going to affect my next moment, how it's going to affect a year down the line, or how it's going to affect few years down the line. So you would have access to that information by being personally by having this personal awareness, and and you can tune into that energy based on what's going on, because every time you make a choice, and if it's really coming from your heart's longing, you would exactly know how it feels in this moment. And based on the information which is there, based on your capacity, your capability which is there, you are going to have the understanding that all the choices which I'm going to make, how are they going to affect me few years down the line, like including next movement, few months, and few years down the line. So you would have a good understanding of that, and you can fine tune your choices based on that personal awareness. The next one is relational awareness. So when I say relational awareness is the conscious connection to our external reality. And what I mean here is you have this personal awareness which is already going on, but when you come in connection with people outside, when you come in connection with relationship at a personal level, at a professional level, with the nature, you would exactly know what's going on in that relationship. And when you have that relational awareness, you would exactly know how do you feel the heart of others. And what I really mean is like what's going on with them. You know, you can touch their hearts, and not in a physical way, but metamorphically, you can actually see what's going on with them, how you connect with them. Are they present with you? Are you present with them? So once you have this relational awareness, you would know where your relationships are. And because you have that, you would have exact understanding of, hey, what's needed in this relationship at this moment? How do I make this relationship more intimate or more fulfilling? And because you have your own personal awareness, what's going on each one of these levels, you would have access what's going on with them also in a felt perception that, hey, this is where they are and this is what they need at this moment. So it's like if they come in the evening, your partner is there, they come in the evening and they are tired. Instead of if something really beautiful has happened and you come and say you really want to share that information with them, rather than just going and say, hey, this is what happened with today, you would understand where they are coming from. Maybe they need a little bit of space, they need a little bit of time, and you allow them to do that because you can feel their hearts. And once they are settled, they are in that space to listen to you, you can share it with them. And that way they can receive you better, they can connect with you better, and actually share that wonderful information with you. And also, when that's happening, you have that relational awareness, you can actually communicate to them the whole of you. And what I mean by whole of you is who you are truly. What are your ideas? What are your inspirations? What is your heart really long for? And you can communicate all of this in a way which lands with them. And what I mean is they get you. Otherwise, we go and meet somebody in a get together, whether we are networking or something, we say, hey, this is who I am, and this is what's going on, this is where I work, this is where I live, and all of those 10,000 things. But ultimately, a lot of times it just doesn't land with them. So what needs to happen is they really need to understand it. And once you have that relational awareness where they are coming from, you can connect with them at that level and actually share whatever is needed so that it can land with them. So, and once you have that, it is very good tool for having conflict resolution, managing healthy boundaries. So you would know what exactly needs to be done in this situation, what's going on, so that ultimately you are able to share the most prominent information which is required there. Hey, this is the thing which is in conflict. So what I really need to do is I need to bring in this aspect. I need to share this information with them. I need to share what's the goal of this conversation so that we can come to a conclusion where it's a win-win situation for both of us. But if you don't have this relational awareness, it becomes very difficult because you just go with your own agenda and you don't know where other person is, what they really need in that moment. Maybe sometimes listening to somebody leads to conflict resolution without sharing your part of the story. But how would you really know that until unless you are aware of that part? And also, by having relational awareness, you can create very healthy boundaries. And what I mean by healthy boundaries is you would exactly know what is yours and what is theirs. And what I mean is like when you come in connection with somebody, you would really know that, hey, I feel this little sadness. And if you're really aware internally of your own self, you would know that I am not feeling sadness at my physical, emotional, spiritual level, but that means that sadness is coming from somewhere else. And as you're aware in that relation, you would really know that that sadness is coming from somebody else, it's not yours. And that's where you would really know whether you want to carry on with that conversation or carry on with that connection in that moment. Or maybe you can decide, hey, I want to come back and connect with that person later because I don't want to connect in a space when they are sad. Yeah, or maybe you would decide that here they are sad and I need to provide them the support needed in this moment rather than going ahead with my own agenda. So you would exactly know what needs to be done by creating healthy boundaries, which also means you would have the capacity to say yes to when it's required, and at the same time you can say no when it is required without feeling bad about it. Hey, you have to say no. And a lot of times we fall into that trap where we say, I don't want to say no, but I can't do this. But if you're not aware what's going on with your own self, what is needed in that relationship, so both this personal awareness and relational awareness would provide you that information and also that awareness what to do or what choices to make in that particular moment. So moving to the, as we understand between these relational awareness, we would also understand how to deal with all the sabotage or neurological defense which comes up in the relationship. Like when do I become defensive? Some of my old patterns start emerging, and they actually don't allow me to enjoy this relationship completely because I don't trust people, and that trust is an issue which is coming from my childhood. So you would be aware that, hey, in this particular relationship, this trust issue comes up, or this issue of being faithful comes up. So how do you how do you actually surf through this whole gamut of defenses and blockages which you experience in relationships? So one of the key parts as you become aware uh, for both personal awareness and relational awareness, one of the key parts which is required is awareness of the emotions. And this is the most key part uh, which is really important to understand because it connects a lot of pieces together. Because emotions are connected with your thoughts, your beliefs, and your body. So if you feel uncomfortable, you feel frustrated, your thoughts would be a frustration. It would connect to a belief system which enhances this frustration, or maybe it might be coming from that belief system which is where you already have frustration, and you can feel that unease in your body. So emotions connect all of them, and that's why we are going to dive a little bit deeper into understanding the sphere of emotions. So, and this is the one key piece which is missing in all the transformational journeys. And what I mean by that is like people go to a lot of spiritual gatherings or they have their own practices and they have access to all of this great information that being as a spiritual person or being this person who is having all the balance should experience such and such way of life. They should be more fulfilled, they should be more connected, their experience should be unlimited. But everything else is happening, they have all the information, but the experience is not there. And why they are missing that experience is because they don't have what's moving on at the emotional level. Some of them even have the awareness, but they don't really know how to go and make that shift so that you can live a more fulfilled life. And that's why understanding emotions is the key piece in this. Also, emotions are the guidance system of what's happening internally, thoughts, feelings, and at the belief level. And a very easy way to do it is understand it is like, hey, you might keep on saying to somebody, hey, in a relationship that I'm doing great, everything is good. But your feelings, your emotions would exactly tell you inside where you are in this moment. So emotions are the guidance system of what's happening internally at different levels. Emotional awareness also gives you the opportunity to make direct changes to the cause rather than fixing the symptoms. And what I mean by this is Once you have emotional awareness, then you realize, oh, I'm not feeling okay. And based on the previous example, what I shared with you, that you're frustrated and you're feeling that frustration in the body. So instead of going and checking what's going on at the emotional level, you might just go and say like, hey, I'm feeling very frustrated. I need to smoke, or I need a cigarette. I need a drink. So what you're doing is you're going ahead and fixing a symptom which is arising from that particular emotion of frustration and whatever is the reason underlying that frustration. So instead of really going and making the changes, or trying to bring that part to the healing, you're going to try and fix the symptoms. And if you really see a lot of people around you, most of the people are actually just trying to fix the symptoms, which also means they're trying to fix something which is broken. So scanning your energy at every level, moment by moment, is technically emotional awareness. And I would show you today how you scan that. And as you scan all of these different parts, you need to be aware how to decipher that this message, where after I scan, this message is coming from my physical self, this message is coming from my energetic self, this message is coming from my emotional self, or this message is coming from my spiritual self. And the idea behind scanning and understanding all of this is that whatever you can feel, you can heal. And what I mean by that is, what you can feel, you can heal, is that you can't heal any of your emotional issues or problems which are existing at the emotional level, which are directly connected to your thoughts, feelings, and belief system, without feeling that. And what has happened is, since we were kids, we have been growing up, we were never told, we were never taught how to feel our emotions. So if we were a kid and we fall down and we hit a chair or a table, our parents would come and say, or they would start hitting the table or start hitting the chair, and it's like, oh, this chair hit my kid, or this table hit my kid, and oh, the problem is not with you, the problem is with this chair, and all of these things. And then they would try to give you something so that they can distract you from feeling that hurt, feeling that pain. So they might give you a candy, they might give you a toy to play with, and what happened is you get distracted from that pain which was there. And I'm just using a very very simple example, but it could be something more traumatic, where something happened, and what happened was that all of you would really feel that uh, this is taking away from you what needs to be felt. And if you're not connected there, then everything would actually is going to make things much and more difficult for you. So if you can't feel something, you can't heal it, because once you feel it, you would actually realize that you are the one who would find solution by feeling it more. So that's the main idea behind this. So let's go to the next. Let's go to the next thing, and then it would give it a little more clarity about the healing part. So scanning is a very good way of learning. So you cannot heal the cause of your painful emotion by shouting, getting even, withdrawing, or any way that takes your focus from your feelings. And what I mean by that is that people have been trying all of these different things to do to the healing part, but ultimately that's not happening. And what has happened over a period of time is that you cannot be doing the same behaviors as you've done over the past, right? You can't keep on doing the same behaviors over the past just to get out of the situation you are in, you know. So once that happens, so So the message behind it is like you have to really understand that what is the cause of it, and to get the cause of it, you just can't run away from it by doing any of these behaviors. So you have to be aware of every emotion that's arising from every interaction, and every emotion would actually lead to a different kind of understanding. In the same scenario with somebody, uh, you would feel one emotion, and on the other level with other relationship, you would have a different kind of understanding. And each interaction, each scanning, each feeling, going through this, each awareness is going to give you a new message. Hey, this is what happens with me when I'm in relationship with this. This is what happens when this is happening with this. So as we go through this exercise, as we understand it a little more, the idea is not to feel better with this, but ultimately the idea is to get better at feeling what's going on. So unintegrated and unprocessed emotion. So I'm going into a piece which is very interesting, and what I mean to share with you in this particular piece is that what I'm going to share with you in this piece is that a lot of issues which we have, and where we are not understanding the emotions, what's going on with us, is a direct result of a lot of unintegrated, unprocessed emotion. And most of these unintegrated and unprocessed emotions has come from our childhood. And some of the things which might be very simple, like your parents actually loved your siblings, maybe elder or younger siblings, little more than you. And there was nothing wrong in it. It was just one situational thing, but you might have thought something through that, and you holded those emotions inside, and that didn't allow you to grow. So those emotions, because they were not experienced, they were not felt, they become integrated and unprocessed. So I'm going to share a little bit more information about it, and I think that is a key piece which I want to share with you today, because until and unless we don't take care of those unintegrated and unprocessed emotion, then we are actually running on some kind of a charge from the past, which means we can never experience our own authentic power. So how do we do that? So scanning and feeling through them is really critical. But how do you do that? I would share it in a demo. But before we do that, I just want to share what exactly unintegrated and unprocessed emotions really look like. And part of this has actually come from the work of Michael Brown from the Presence Process. So what is unintegrated and unprocessed emotion? So unintegrated and unprocessed emotions are emotions which one is not able to express. They were never felt. They were never heard. You feel rejected. There was no acceptance, and because of all of that which has happened, you are carrying a charge or judgment around it. Also, you would also realize that some of these would have come from a childhood trauma, a hurt or abuse, or a guilt which you carry from your childhood. Like some people, like they might carry a guilt that hey, they were playing with their siblings, and because whatever something they did, their sibling got hurt or they got injured, and even those that sibling might still be carrying some part of that hurt, depending on how severe it was, or they might have forgotten it, but you are still carrying that guilt, and you are never able to express that, and you are never able to forgive yourself, or the others never forgive you. So this whole expression that emotions stayed there inside. You might have distracted yourself from it and gone somewhere else and started doing different things, but a part of that charge has stayed inside with you. Sometimes these unintegrated, unprocessed emotion happens when basic needs are not met, and when a kid actually protests, he has been unsuccessful, and then kids actually feel there is something wrong with them. And there is a very beautiful example I came across. There was this little girl uh, who was there, and she was probably 4 or 5 years old, and she was crying that her mommy should come and pick her up. And what happened was that her mommy couldn't come at that time. Maybe she didn't hurt, she was in another room and she was taking care of something else. It's not that she didn't love, but somewhere that kid, that little girl, started thinking that, oh, my mommy didn't love me, or my mommy didn't love me. And she felt immediately that feeling of abandonment. And maybe that wasn't true. And in some scenarios, it might be very true. But that feeling of abandonment stayed with that girl for a very long period of time with her life. And whichever relationship she would go, and then she would have this connection she created somehow neurologically inside that relationships lead to abandonment. Even the people who love you the most, they actually abandon you. And then that vibration, she stayed with her. That was the place she was operating. Then a lot of relationship which she created, she was attracting the same kind of relationship where she was experiencing abandonment at the end of the relationship. So it was creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of what's going on with them, with her in every relationship, till the time she come to that understanding that that was an unprocessed and unintegrated emotion. And now there is a story which was created that, hey, she felt that way, she felt abandoned that way, that was the emotion there. And there could be another underlying emotion, being less worthy, being less loved, or whatever it is, not worthy of love, plus the story that my mom doesn't love me. And then there's another belief system that relationships, close relationships, leads to abandonment. So if you see all of this, we have all of these different things which are going on with us, and finally we actually lead to carrying this charge and that a belief system, and keep on recreating that drama and that trauma again and again in our relationships. And this information actually came from the healing developmental trauma folks. And what they also mention is, like, with development trauma, there is no single traumatizing event. And what it means is that you might have experienced the similar kind of, like, oh, somebody didn't love you in different relationship, and then over a period of time it just becomes the experience of your life in the first especially the first decade of your life, which is when you are growing up, from 1 to 10 years. Also, one key quality of all the human beings is the essential adaptive ability. And what I mean by that adaptive ability is, like, the capacity to adapt to different situations. And if you have to adapt to a different situation, one of the things is, you very easily, which you need to do is, you need to disconnect from that experience which is creating frustration or trauma for you. And we human have that amazing adaptive capability. What we do is, we easily find a way to be in that situation without getting hurt. And the way to do it is completely disconnect from their painful internal and external experiences. And children find it very easily. And why I'm bringing this focus on children is because, in some level or other, when we were growing up, we have experienced this. There are very few kids I've come across who have a really great growing up experience where it was a healthy upbringing, at all the levels. So children give up their very sense of existence and disconnect and attempt to become invisible when they experience this kind of trauma or this kind of stuff. They give up their own needs in order to focus on their needs of their parents. Oh, if I do this, my parents would be really happy. When I talk to somebody sweetly, my parents would be really happy. And in that whole thing, they started understanding the value of pretense. Like, oh, inside I'm feeling angry, but I should be very sweet to my siblings because that's what makes my mommy or my daddy happy. They give up their authenticity in order to be who their parents want them to be. Because when you're growing up, all your sense of happiness or sadness is based on what is reflected from your parents. If your parents are happy, then you're happy. If your parents are unhappy, then you're unhappy. So you start aligning to what your parents want and their needs, rather than being authentic to who you really are. And even sometimes you might say, like, hey, I want to be a train driver, right? And the parents said, this is not the profession you want to be, or I want to be somebody who would like to be a surfer. Oh, that's not a good profession. You should be engineer, you should be a doctor, you should be some other career or financial advisor, whatever it is, which would make them feel good, And they also start learning to refrain from your direct expression of independence, so that they don't feel abandoned. Like, if they decide that this is what they want to do, but they realize by making that choice, the parents are going to abandon them, or they are not going to be loved, they are not going to be accepted, then you start playing small, which means you want to avoid that feeling of being abandoned. And that's a very basic need of human being, to feel connected, to feel intimate with in relationship. Nobody wants to be alienated. So people would do everything to be part of this. I have seen some examples where somebody was really brilliant in their family, but everybody else was average. So So even instead of being showing his or her brilliance, they started playing small, they started playing average, and that became the behavior for the rest of their life. And they, and that's on the similar note, they want to avoid rejection at any cost, and they want to play whatever part they have to play to avoid that rejection. So going a little bit more into that, and this is directly coming from the work of Michael Brown in Present Process, that we all have potential in our life, you know. And what I mean by potential is that all of our abilities, all the all the special abilities which come at all the different level, vibrational, emotional, physical, mental, at all of these levels. And these faculties, these powers get, these energies get developed over a period of time, and I would show you the order in which that happens, you know. So during the first 21 years of our life, we are in process of growing up. And that's why when you celebrate your 21st birthday, there's something special about it, because now you're grown up, right? So you have, that's why you would probably get a lot of access to a lot of other things which you were not when you were probably 16 or 18. So this is how the work, how the development happens, how the potential gets transferred. So at a vibrational level, during the last 7 months when you're in a womb, all of that information, all of that potential get transferred from your mother. So whatever your mom was feeling, whatever was her experience in the last 7 months when you were in her womb, that would have a very strong vibrational imprint. If she was very happy, she was very safe, then she is going to actually pass on that experience to you, you know. Emotionally, you get developed in your first 7 years of cycle. So how you feel emotionally, how do you emote, how you connect with people, how you connect with your siblings, how you connect with your parents, your caregivers, everyone, you get developed emotionally in the first 7 years of your cycle. Mentally, you get developed in the next 7 years. And this is the part where we go for serious schooling. Like when we are actually 8 or 9 years, that's when we actually start going to school, start taking our education seriously. Before that, it was pretty much a developmental year, and we were working in the emotional realm. Finally, the physical part, which comes to its uh, full glory, if I may say, it's the third part where we grow mature, like the teen phase, you know, where we physically attain our height, our physique, our sexual maturation, the adolescence period, and all of that. So if you really see till the phase we are 21 years of age, that's the time by when we are kind of completely grown. And one of the key pieces which are missing here is the emotional maturity piece. And why I'm bringing it here is because the way I feel, nobody understands it. Even sometimes I try to explain it to my parents. They would validate certain emotions and they would invalidate other emotions. Oh, you shouldn't be angry on your siblings. Angry is bad, you know. So whatever is their level of emotional development which has happened in their life, the same level of emotional development, that baton, they would actually pass it on to you. If we were not matured at an emotional level, if we were not able to express ourselves, how how should I be with my emotions if I'm feeling angry? How should I deal with it? If I feel hurt when somebody doesn't love me, if I feel alienated, or if I have the feelings of abandonment, how do I really deal with all of this? There is no school which taught us. Our parents didn't taught us. Some of us figured out some nice ways by hit and trial, but a lot of us, just like in the previous slide where I mentioned, we disconnected from that experience so that we don't, because it's too painful for us to touch, because I don't know how do I deal with myself when I'm feeling angry. Now I'm feeling angry, which is uncomfortable to me. I'm feeling it physically, emotionally. And now when I express it, my parents don't feel okay with it. They actually tell me not to do that. How do I deal with it? Like, and I start playing the pretense of making them happy. So even if I'm angry inside, I start showing that I'm very happy inside. And that same behavior I keep on doing for the rest of my life. So if you don't become emotionally mature in the first 7 years, then you grow at all the other levels. You would grow physically, you would grow mentally by going to the best schools, doing your best of the education, but inside at the emotional level, or your emotional body is still of a 7 years old. So that's why you would find a lot of people, no matter whether they are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, they look like 50, 60 years old, but they are still living with the belief systems, the emotional maturity of a 7-year-old person. And that body, that part, that emotional body which hasn't developed, that becomes the handicap as we try to go and experience life more fully, more openly, in a more heart-centered manner. Because that part keeps on crying for assistance, for help, and I don't know how to provide that assistance. I don't know how to provide that help. And because of that, it becomes very challenging for me to bring the balance across all of these four different parts, different energy in me. So this is the key part which we are going to focus, and this is the one which would allow us to experience our authentic power. So if I really need to go and understand how do I really go ahead and integrate these emotions, how do I process these emotions which are stuck inside and I'm holding the charge? And what happens is the relationship keeps on changing, the situation keeps on changing, but my experience of being that angry, that frustrated, or sad, or whatever it is, it stays the same. And I'm not trying to paint a negative picture. Some of you guys might be having a really great experience in life, but there are still parts of you where you would feel this. You would feel that imbalance, and you're also going to feel that there's part of me which always feels this way. Like, you are a very loving person, and then somebody says something to you, just one somebody, right? And everybody else loves you, but that when that somebody says something to you, you lose all your love, you lose all your openness. You feel like, I wish this person is no longer in my life so I can have a wonderful experience of life. The problem is not that person. Problem is that unintegrated and unprocessed emotion which is there. And to understand that, how do you integrate it and how do you process it? Because the direct result of processing them and integrating them is there is a sense of peace and balance which you feel inside. And once that's there, the access to authentic power is just around the corner. So in order to do that, we have to actually understand what are emotion, what is that emotional realm, so that we can understand it more, become more aware, and finally come to a place of creating more healthier emotional being. So what are emotions? Emotions are current of energy that run through you. That's very simple. Nothing more than that. Emotions are current of energy that run through you. You can label them as negative emotion, good emotion, bad emotion, but underlying whatever level, it's just purely the energy. And also, another way to understand is emotions are emotions, energy in motion. Most of the issues which you face at an emotional level are more or less because of this energy not being in motion. You're resisting motion of some of the energy. And some of the energies are the ones in which you have judgments around them. Oh, these are not the emotions which I should feel. I should feel this, my own fire, which is coming in form of anger. I shouldn't feel this. Uh, I shouldn't feel this frustration. I shouldn't feel this confusion. So all of them are different emotions which are coming there. But first of all, the presence of it's there. All emotion needs is to run, to flow, and once you allow it free flow, free access, it just comes into its own pure place of flow. You would come at ease by itself. So energies in motion, that's what emotion is. It's all different color, different gamut. That's all what is there. And you might label it in different ways, but they're all different energies, part of the same energy spectrum. I'm going to share with you this basic map of emotions. It's come from a research from a institute, NSA, and it shows the 14 basic emotions. And if you can really see, right from anger all the way to envy and everything in between, what's going on. So if you really see, if you're really in this place, which means you are at very higher spectrum of this energy, which means it has gone little out of tune here. And when it has gone little out of tune, that's where it becomes anger. But at the same time, if you take it to the other level, it becomes ranges into the dark side. It's still on the envy level, you know. And then you go to a very bottom, which is this, which is depression. What it means is there is very little charge. So if you see this like a spectrum of energy out there. So depression is not really, as people understand, it's sadness. I'm feeling sad. No, depression is basically feeling nothing. I want to feel something. Even if I feel negative, that's fine. Depression is feeling nothing. It's emptiness. It's a hole which you can never fill, you know, that kind of sinking feeling. So if you really see, that's what's happening at the level. And there are a whole bunch of emotions which could be in between, right? There could be something between love and happiness. There could be something between sadness and anxiety. So all of these things are there, and they're all connected with each other. So maybe in the future session when I do, I would actually specifically take the example of one particular emotion, and maybe anger, because we all have experience with it at some level or other. So this is basically the space. And and what I want to share with you is like a couple of slides before I get into the demo. You know? So source of emotions is basically how do emotions get created. Let me see what the time is. 7:18. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you in the next. I'm going to stop here and do the demo, and next I'm going to share with you in the next webinar the seven energy centers, and what's the connection of emotions there, and how do those connections, how do the processing of the energy at all of these levels relate to emotion. What kind of emotion comes? What kind of emotions are good, like makes you feel comfortable versus what are not making you feel comfortable. In essence, all those emotions which make you feel good, happy, healthy, like compassion, generosity, and all that, they are reflecting parts of you which are completely healed and healthy. And all of those emotions which are not so comfortable, whether frustration, confusion, anger, they're coming from the parts which are unhealed. So I would like to stop here, and next session we'll go there. But before I share anything, and I'm going to do a demo, and I've been talking about personal awareness, relational awareness. So I'm going to give a good demo of what personal awareness looks like. And I'm going to call my good friend Karuna here to do a live demo with you guys. You guys, if you're comfortable at a place where you can sit, what you can do is you can follow along with me what I'm saying. You know, all you need to do is just track. This exercise is called tracking exercise, and what I mean by tracking exercise is you are actually tracking what's going at each of these different levels. It means like each of these different mental, emotional, physical, uh, and spiritual levels, so that you get exactly what's moving for you in this moment and what is the message which is available for you at this level. So one way to understand tracking is very simple. What you need to do is what you need to do is simply check what's going on without any judgments. And then my friend who I'm going to ask is I'm going to guide her, and she's going to share what's going on. And similarly, you can check your own experience in the same way. So the way it is, like all of these different level, mental, physical, emotional, energetic, and spiritual, are say 5 floors in a building. And what we are going to do is just imagine you are in a chopper, and you basically fly down at one level, check what's going on at that level, then move to the next level, check what's going on at that particular level in the building. So that's one way of being aware of it, just seeing from a distance. The other is also having the awareness that you are in an elevator in the same building. So you go on one floor, get out, check out what's there in each room at that floor, then you come back, take the elevator, go to the next level. So it's like you are seeing from a chopper in a detached manner, but by being in the elevator and stepping out at each floor, you're also seeing what's moving there. So you're not so detached that you don't know what's going on, but at the same time, you're not so caught up that you absolutely have no idea what's going on from a detached perspective. So I hope that analogy gives you a good understanding of how we are going to track that. Maybe if it goes 5 minutes over, I hope you guys can stay back. And I know some of you have joined from East Coast, it would be a little late, but thanks for joining in. So Karuna, if you can turn on your camera and mic and be here, then we can actually start this demo. So, hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Thanks.
So, great. So what I'm going to do is, Karuna, you can sit relaxed wherever you are. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. You can open. If you want to keep it open, keep it open.
Okay.
And as the name of this tool tracking, it would track what's going on at all the different levels of you.
Okay.
So we would start with the physical level, and just check what's just scan your body all the way from head to toe. See what's going on with you in this moment. And what I mean by what's going on is, like, do you feel connected to your body? Do you feel that there is a flow there in your body, or you feel disconnected? You feel connected to a part of your body, and you don't feel too disconnected with other part of the body. What's going on physically for you? Is a part of your body calling for special attention? So whenever you're ready, you can share with me.
Okay. I feel like a little tightness in my upper back, and then I feel sort of some energy in my front of my chest. Maybe a little nervousness, I'm not sure.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
So do you feel, what is your mental stories around it? Like, why do you feel this nervousness? What's going on? Is there any mental story or judgment around it?
I think my upper back is feeling tight. The judgment I would feel is, let me check in here. Just a little tired, and maybe some unnecessary stress that I've brought onto myself is in the back of my neck.
Okay. So the reality of this movement is that you're feeling that stress, right? In this movement. But there is a mental story, and it could be true, it could not be true, that you've carried that stress from somewhere. Yeah? And some of you who are actually tracking your body right now, your body might be saying, oh, I didn't sleep properly, my neck was in a different position, or I didn't sleep in the last couple of days, that's why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. But that's all your mental story is telling you. So,
Yeah.
Given that, what you're feeling physically, what is it that you really want to feel? What do you want to experience at a physical level?
What do I want to feel in a physical level, like with my body?
Yeah.
I just want to feel light, like loose and flow. None of this tension.
So as you express that, how do you feel in this moment? Just by expressing it.
My focus went from the back to my chest.
Okay.
And not so much, like, more calmer, but still not completely in the front.
Yeah,
calm.
That's right. So you connected to that longing inside, which says, I want to be more open, more free, right? So as soon as you express it, you would feel a little bit of it. And which is a good way to understand that as I share what's moving for me and I connect to my heart's longing, what is it that I really want in this moment, I'm actually going to feel what I really want, even 5% and 10%. That means if I can feel it in this moment, I'm connected to my heart longing. But if I say, oh, I want to really feel super healthy, I want to have this kind of a body or that kind of a body, these are all good thoughts, but they're coming from your mind, which is basically from conditioning. And how do you know it's coming from conditioning versus from your heart is, what's coming from your conditioning will be flat. And what I mean by flat is, you're not going to feel anything at all in this moment. So you can feel 5-10% of being openness, being more comfortable, calm, which means you're connected to your heart longing. It might not happen immediately because there need to be some inspired action which should happen, but uh, but you have connected to that longing, and that's good enough right at this moment. Okay, so let's go to your energetic self. And what I mean by energetic self is this chi, this prana, this energy which is there inside the breath. You scan your own body and see how you're doing energetically. Do you feel every single cell of your body is like vibrant, and this space inside you and also around you in the energetic self, the energetic bodies around you also? Do you feel more connected, more flowing part and not flowing into the other part? And no matter whatever is happening, you feel completely numb. That's also okay, because that's the experience of this moment. So how are you feeling energetically right now?
I feel greater flow in the lower part of my body, but like when I get to my stomach and my low back, I feel like heaviness.
Mm-hmm. So there is no moment of energy there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Is
yeah.
there any judgments or thoughts around it? And you don't have to search for it. If it's not, it's not. That's all. That's the reality. All we are concerned about being present.
Yeah, I think before like you even started the tracking, I was feeling it and I started moving around in my chair. That's the only judgment. It's like, oh, maybe I'm not sitting uncomfortably. Like, why am I feeling this? I shouldn't feel this in my back. So I guess that's
Yeah.
the judgment.
Yeah, that's a good tracking. So that's coming from your mind, that mind story, what's going on, right? So given that, whatever you're feeling energetically, what is it that you want to feel?
I want to feel flow. Is that a word? Like
Yeah,
I just,
absolutely.
how my legs feel, like everything's just flowing through.
Yeah, yeah. So as you express that, how does that feel?
Yeah. It's less lighter,
Okay. Little
less
more flow.
less tension.
Little more flow.
Mhm.
Right, great. Thank you. So let's go to the next level and let's track what's going on for you uh, emotionally in this moment. Do you feel happy? Do you feel sad? Do you feel excited? You could have more than one emotion in this moment, and you could have no emotions at all, and that's all okay. You don't have to search for that.
I
Just see what's
already
going on.
know what I feel. I'm a little agitated because I just finished work and I had an interaction with somebody which I wasn't too happy with. So you're asking me what I feel, right?
Right now, emotionally, what's going on right now?
Yeah. It's like looming in the sidelines, like it's just pulling me, even
Mm,
though I feel I feel very okay, let me start again. I feel very grateful because I'm
hmm
having this experience right now with you and everyone that's listening. I feel very happy to share what I've learned and experienced, by learning this tracking. But at the same time, that irritation that I had with the person is kind of also there.
Yeah, yeah, true. So that's good, very good tracking. So yeah, you could be feeling grateful, and you could feel also that frustration which is there because both of them are existing there. And
Hmm.
the next level to do it is, where are you feeling the gratefulness and where are you feeling the frustration here? Which part of your body?
They're grateful. I feel in my chest.
Mm-hmm.
And the irritation, I feel it like on the right side of my face or my brain or something like here.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah, good tracking. So, given what you're feeling, what is it that you really want to experience more of?
Do I have to pick between the two or whatever I want to experience more of?
It's your choice. You can connect to your heart's longing. What is it that you want to experience more?
I want to experience more love.
Yeah. So, I can see a little smile as soon as you say I want to experience more love. So do you feel a little more love right now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So because you connected to your heart's longing, and the focus is even if you even if you say I'm frustrated, and if that was the only feeling emotion available there, you you could still go from frustration to love, but you might not 100% feel love. You would feel whatever is the next available better place for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you have to track it moment by moment so you can go to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to the next level and let's go and check our spiritual self, the place where we call maybe your own higher self, God, or maybe all the goodness where it will arise, your angels, your guardians, whatever it is. Go to
Mm-hmm.
that place and see if there is a message for you in this moment. And the message could be in form of a word, vibration, feeling, or there might be nothing in this moment, and that's also all right.
Okay, you want me to say what the message is that I feel?
Yeah, what is the
Share
message for you in this moment? If it's there at all, yeah.
it? Mm-hmm. Let me check it again. So the message is just that everything is love,
Mm,
and whatever it is that isn't love, just let it fall off to the side, and that's it.
okay. And does it resonate with you right now?
Actually, it's everything is love, and let everything else let it be, and that resonates with me.
Great, great, great. So let's thank you for sharing that. So let's go to that last part in this tracking and just become observant of like who was actually observing and witnessing all of these different parts of you. And what I mean by this is who was observing the physical part, who was observing the energetic part of you, who was observing the emotional part of you, who was observing the spiritual part of you. So watch from that perspective who was witnessing all of these different parts of you, different selves of you. And all of you who are also following along, just step back and come into a space of being an observer and watch what's going on as an observer who was observing different parts, who was witnessing everything. So now as you're witnessing it, just step back and now watch this observer who was witnessing all the parts. So now there was observer one, but you step back and now this second observer is observing the first part. And then you can step back furthermore and you can observe the previous observer who was observing the previous observer. And then you can step back and now observe this observer, which was observing the previous observer. So it's like layer by layer. You can keep on going, one observer after another observer, and the current observer just observing the previous one. Until the time you can go no more. And that's absolutely fine. Don't struggle with it if you can. And Karuna, whenever you're ready and you want to share something, feel free to share.
What do you want me to share?
Whatever is moving for you right now, as you're being an observer of your own different parts and being an observer of other observers within you.
Well, the more I observe an observer and observe another observer, I just feel a lot of expansion
Mm.
and a lot of almost like infinity.
Mm.
I just feel like greatness and limitlessness. Just there's no start or end to any observer.
Wow. Yeah. And as you're sharing this, I could feel it in my body, that energy, that excitement, that openness.
Mm.
So whenever you're ready, you can take a deep breath and you can open your eyes. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How do you feel now?
Pretty light, actually.
Okay. So just quickly in a second, can you see what's moving for you and you can share with us right now? Which is very obvious, whatever is obvious.
I can't even describe it. Just a bunch of like tingly in my chest. Maybe
Okay.
it's coming from all the viewers. I don't know. It's just like all this tinkly going on.
Great, great. Yeah. So, 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 thank you for being the volunteer here to share with us what's moving for you in this moment and allowing me to demo this wonderful tracking tool. And all of you guys, I would send you this link, the replay of this session, and you can actually, when you go to the last part, you can actually practice with it, this tracking tool. So it's very simple. You have to just go at each level and see what's going on, what you're feeling in this moment. Then you would have a mental story. Just recognize this is a mental story, what mind has to say. It doesn't need to be true or false. This is what it is. That's what mind interprets. That's what it's saying. And finally, given whatever you are experiencing, where is it that you really want to go? What is it that you want to experience? And a very key understanding here is whatever you want, if it's coming from your conditioning, which means your mind says, oh, I want to have all the love, I want to fix my all the relationship, and you don't feel anything around it inside you, that means it's coming from your mind. It's just conditioning. But as soon as you feel little bit of it, like you feel little bit of love, little bit of openness, little bit of flow, sometimes you might feel a whole lot of it. So you would actually realize that you have connected to your heart's longing. So if you keep on doing this exercise, we took lot more time in this session so that I can explain everything. But when you are by yourself, at any moment, you can just say, oh, what's moving for me physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically, at a spiritual level, and become an observer of everything. Boom, boom, boom. It would probably take you not more than 3 to 4 minutes. And the more you keep on tracking, the more you can keep on coming into the awareness. And that awareness is the doorway to understanding your all the emotions, understanding what are the unintegrated, unprocessed emotions, how you can open that. Because when you are moving on a heart-centered journey, to open your heart, one way to really understand how to open is to see how you close. And this tracking would actually give you the understanding that, oh, I'm closed here, this is what's moving for me. And just by having the awareness, you would feel much more powerful. Your experience would change just with this awareness. So you would move into a better place. And even if you don't move into the better place, just be okay, that's what you are. And your awareness experience would keep on shifting every moment. Like if I do the same exercise with her again, she would have slightly different experience because she's in a different moment right now. So so I would just finish it here. We are already 10 minutes up, so thank you for your patience here. And please leave your feedback on the Facebook page. And if you have any questions, you can send it to me via Facebook message, or you can post it there. And I would try to answer those questions in the next session, or maybe just make a video to answer all of those questions to you in a separate video and send it to you guys. So in the next session, we would actually cover our energy centers, how emotions are aligned to that, how we can use that awareness, how do we understand the emotions to unintegrate, which means to integrate and process it so that we can come into our own fullness, get into our own heart-centeredness. And once you come into that, you can do whatever you want to do. You could be a better spiritual person, you could be a better Jew, Christian, Hindu, whatever you want to be. Just become much more heart-centered person who can enjoy his or her life in a much more fulfilled and wholesome manner. So I look forward to hearing from you. Please leave your comments on Facebook and Google Plus here, and I would send you the email with the details of the next session, so you can use that link and connect with me on Google Plus next time. So till next time, stay aware, stay heart-centered. I see you later. Thank you. Bye.